When you have a client like this that offers a service in a local area, what I always want to tell clients is, number one, advertising for you, you have to see that as an investment and not as much as a cash flow generator like we do with a lot of the stuff that we talk about in this world, right? I'll be straight. Driving traffic from ads is easy for me. I've never had an issue with it. My trouble is getting, once people hit the landing page, they don't convert. So you've got two friends with home service companies, which is challenging right here, but HVAC and pressure washing. So he's trying to run ads to an offer for a coupon on a discount of their service. Zero response. So you're not even asking for money. And do you need them top-notch training? Okay. So what I would say to this is, if you're asking for a coupon, if you're offering a coupon for a discounted service, you're basically asking for money, right? Essentially, it's the same thing. You're asking for a commitment for them to buy that service. So when you have a client like this, and here's some of the questions I'd want to see is, number one, some of the questions I have are some of the things that I'd want to see. I'd love to see your landing page. If you have that, throw that in the chat. I'd love to see what ads you are running in there, because it starts with the messaging always, right? And then it ends up on having it. Well, the customer experience starts with the ad. But when it comes to us developing, funnels and stuff, we always want to start with the offer and the landing page and get that right. That's why we spend so much time working on that stuff before we even touch the ads. Okay, cool. He's got that. How big of a city and area is this as well? In this, I'm sure I get. So the thing is, when you have a client like this that offers a service in a local area, what I always want to tell clients is, number one, advertising for you, you have to see that as an investment and not as much as a cash flow generator like we do with a lot of the stuff that we talk about in this world, right? Digital products, physical products. When you have something that people aren't using to solve a problem, or not, it's not like an impulse buy, it's cleaning their sidewalks or their driveway or their roof once a year, or twice a year, or once every 2 years, and then HVAC stuff where maybe it's a repair, where that is something that someone's going to go to Google for, or they're going to have you on the top of mind because they've been seeing your ads throughout the year. And that's branding. So branding in any service related thing is huge. That's why the big, huge plumbing companies you'll see in your market, the ones that run the TV, the ones that are all over the billboards, that are on the buses and stuff like that, those guys everybody knows about. Right. So people call them and they go to their website when something happens. But those guys that are running those ads, they understand that running ads into all this brand advertising is an investment, and they're going to spend a lot of money for quite a while, and they're not going to see it back until it starts to sink in. It takes a year to 2 years for the branding to really kick in. But once it does, it doesn't just go away. You can actually slow down your branding after you start to really saturate a market. And so on the branding, though, one thing you could experiment with on the social stuff is really saturating something for like 30 days and then slowing down maybe the frequency on an ad, on a branding ad, after about a month. Because once they start to see you, then they'll recognize more because the subconscious is kicking in. But in terms of now, when it comes to the actual direct response, the conversions, let's talk about that. Let's look at these here. And this is the first one I think he posted. Okay, send me 10%. So, okay.
Yeah, I have plenty of ideas on both of these that could.
Okay. And then we'll let Josh go in just a second first on the details, but let me talk big picture a little bit more. Definitely. So one of the lessons I learned from the auto business, which is a similar industry where people only buy a car every 2 to 3 years, is there's a dealership that is based out of Sumner, Washington, which is about 45 minutes south of Seattle, small town, a little bit bigger than from Enumclaw where I'm from, but They're like the number one Chevy dealership in the state. They were for like 15 years, and they're in a small town. And what got them there basically, and how I know this is because Kyler's mom, her in-laws are her cousin's husband, basically her first cousin's husband. His dad was the owner. I sold the dealership like 10 years ago, but was one of the co-owners of Sunset Chevrolet for years. And so I got the inside story of why they blew up so big. And it was all about one marketing campaign. Free oil changes for life. That's it. That's what did it. And then having everything else in place, the customer service, understanding that it's a long-term play. People come there to get their oil changes, and they're going to wait for it. And then they're going to be at the dealership, and they're going to maybe meet somebody, and then they're going to buy a car, and then they're going to bring it back and get their oil change there. Right. And so then they're higher likelihood to build a relationship. Maybe, see a car that maybe I'll buy something or trade it in. Right. So that's what happens. So the free oil change, it wasn't 50% off, 30% off. It was a free oil change. Big difference, right? So that is what made them the number one Chevrolet dealership in the state of Washington for 10 years. So that's one example. And then you have a lot of other ones like that. But when it comes to something, when you have a service like this, to me, it's a 50-50. You have 50% of your advertising or energy. Maybe it's not 50% of your budget because you get a lot more reach, but close to 50% of it is just branding only, pure brand awareness stuff. And of course, you're running ads for coupons. That's going to give you the branding. But maybe it's something. Maybe it's educating people. But maybe you have somebody within the business that's entertaining or funny, and they do something that's kind of funny, and that's branding as well. Then the other 50% is focused on getting, and this is local, especially a service. Then it's getting customers. So now we have to figure out what's the thing we're going to get them in. Number one is we want to make it as easy as possible. So ideally, that's why I loved when ManyChat and Messenger stuff started coming out a few years ago, and then they sort of cranked down and there were some issues there. But I know if I had a lot of local clients right now, I would be ninja right now with ManyChat and Messenger, whatever we could do, because you want to make it easy for people, like so they can just comment on a post to get the coupon like emailed to them or message to them, and then you can have automation built in there, or maybe you don't. You just have it all done. Ideally, it's not even automated. You just have something running where you can optimize on engagement or something like that. And people can comment saying that they want a free, a free patch of my driveway cleaned or something like that. And I would test. So anyways, on that, you want to, in the meantime, I would dial in the offer first, use a landing page, do that. And then the second phase, maybe you work on something a little bit more next level where you can get people commenting and you can start generating some leads and stuff from the post itself, maybe lead ads, right? Maybe even, but back to the actual offer. We got to have a much more compelling offer if you're going to have a service like this that most people aren't looking for and don't care about. If they see your ad, they're just not even going to notice it. But I would want something that is like that. That's like free. And it's tough because it all depends on what they offer and what their service is. If they have a system where they'll come out and they know that if they give you a free driveway or half a driveway, or ideally it's one section, like carpet cleaners, we'll do a free room. That's a good thing for a carpet cleaner because they know there's more house. But maybe you do a free driveway knowing that the goal is to get them on a maintenance package, right? Like a pest control does. If the maintenance package is where the money is, then you can offer something free, and now you're going to probably get more people opting in. And if you don't, then if you're not getting people with a better offer like that, now let's figure out, maybe we have to bring it back to the ad and we have something where we get more volume and they can message or, use ManyChat or something like that. So anyways, but now let's look at this. Either way, even if you do dial in your offer, like let's say they come up with a free something, it's still not going to be a lot of volume. Because if you had a restaurant and it was a free appetizer or something, you would have more volume, but you have something that's unique. But that's why, man, if you can get creative and have something that really does stand out as an offer, it's a game changer. And you can talk about it on your ad. Okay, so all cleans, deep cleaning, pressure washing is. So this is the driveway. Then we use a commercial. So it's basically 10% off. So my guess is they wouldn't want to do a free driveway clean if this is their main service, but maybe they have other services. Maybe the goal is to get them to do a roof, which is more expensive probably because it's more dangerous. But how often do people have their roofs pressure washed? Hardly ever, right? Okay. So Josh, while I'm thinking and looking at this, why don't you jump in now?
Yeah. So a couple of things. It seems like a 1,000 years ago, but I used to do a lot of this stuff back when we first started. We started out as an agency that worked with local clients, and we did a lot of coupon stuff. We worked a lot with people in like the chiropractic, dentist, orthodontist space, but we also did do some plumbers, some service master was one of our big clients. And so it's a lot of similar stuff. So the biggest issue here, Brandon, is that people, like, it's a ubiquitous thing. Like, you could almost have like kid down the street come pressure wash your driveway and stuff. It's not something that's new or proprietary really. So it becomes a sophistication situation where you've got to show people why yours is different than any other pressure washing place. And the other thing is, on Facebook, nobody goes on Facebook hoping that they're going to get their pressure washing needs met by somebody on Facebook. So there's like this level of maybe, not mistrust, but you have to go the extra mile to kind of show that you're a legitimate business. And so I think having, let me actually shoot. I had it up and then I think I took it down. Would you mind bringing the page back up? I think I actually closed it down, or he has it here, doesn't he? But at the top, I would definitely have like an image, like representation of the team, of like even if it's just one of the guys cleaning a driveway, or it's just like a couple people from the team in front of the truck or something like that shows that it's a legitimate thing. I think the problem here is that we just assume, hey, it's a coupon. We don't have to have this big sales page. But to Keith's point, I think this is a sale. You're selling them on a coupon, and why would they get the coupon if they weren't going to use the service? So by extension, this needs to be more of a sales page than just a, hey, grab your coupon lead generation page. So the other piece of it is, I think that you need to make sure that they trust you. And the easiest way and the most direct way to get people to trust you is testimonials. And so 3 things I would do immediately is I would call out the city or the area that you serve at the top, like, exclusive for Boulder, Colorado residents. I would have a picture of some really professional picture of the storefront, you in front of the truck, whatever it might be, something that really makes it a legitimate business, not just a guy, cruising around neighborhoods with a power washer in the back of his truck. And then I would say, let me actually share my screen really quickly here. This is actually, I was hoping that this would work. Sorry. That I actually could find some ads from the Service Master of Salem that we used to work with, but they're not running ads anymore. For some reason, we haven't worked with them for 5 years, so they probably have a totally different business plan now. But right here, I would add components of this. Now, this is where they're sending their ads to. There's not a very good offer here, but other than learn more or schedule an appointment. This is basically like their homepage. But the components that I think would be really valuable is this why choose us component. This is what makes you different than all the other guys with power washers that could come out and wash somebody's, driveway, or power wash other things that people need to be power washed. And then what our customers are saying. And, I think that you can't have too many what our customers are saying, things, even ideally with photos of the customers, which makes it even more legitimate. And then any certifications that you have, or anything around that allows you to like just build up that trust factor. I would almost like maybe even start the page with a these guys did an amazing job, great service, great price, or something like that. And that would be like the top. And then exclusive for Boulder, Colorado residents, get 10% off your next power washing. Picture of the guy, professional. You're going to trust that guy to show up at your home and do a good job. You might even have like some, I don't know if it's necessary or not, but some, like COVID-19 little disclaimer in there that's just like, no, contactless, we're safe, and we do everything online, and then we come and do the work. All of that stuff, that would be like a afterthought, but it might be something you put on there. You just got to think of what are the reasons why people aren't excited about this. I think it's mostly trust. I think the offer could be better, but again, it's a ubiquitous service. So it's like, yeah, I'd like to save X amount. It might be that you test out 10% off versus a dollar amount off. I know that might be getting them into trouble because they could shoot themselves in the foot if the dollar amount is different than what the 10% off could be. But those are just kind of some of the main things that I've seen that this is a sales page and you really have to treat it as such and get people excited with, what they're getting, the trust factor. I would show also some other examples too. If like that one example is pretty good, but it's not great. If you have other kind of before and after examples that you could show, that'd be great too.
I want to add that, everything Josh is saying is all the stuff that just popped into my head as soon as I saw the landing page. But one of the things, people have their own pressure washers, and when they do, you can see the marks. And these guys use like these scrubber things that are too expensive for the average homeowner. So I would put a video of them actually working on that. Your landing pages, you still need to keep selling them, right? So I would have a video showing them that this is not what you're doing at home. This is not what you do with your hose. And then as far as Keith's offer about offering something free, I would go ahead then and it's something they may or may not do, but I would offer with the 10% coupon a free sidewalk, the walkway up to the house, or offer to free do the sidewalk in front of the house so that they don't have a dirty sidewalk and a clean driveway, and it just is all
right. That's a good idea. Because I was trying to think, is there something you could do? Is there a piece of? But I'm like, I don't know if there is because of the, you know what I mean. Most people, they don't have something like that. But if there's a driveway, I like that idea. But in the images, well, back to what some of the stuff Josh was saying too, that the trust factors are big. One of the big ones that works the best with anything from software to something like this as well is you have a little at the top above the fold somewhere. 9,000, 5,800 driveways cleaned, that not just a number, and make it, unless they've only done 50 driveways, then you don't want to do that. But if they've done, several hundred, or ideally over, several hundred ideally, but maybe over 1,000 over the years, then you, and if they haven't, if their number isn't super high, but they still want to have that, maybe you take all the people that work for them, and maybe there's a guy that's done a bunch of driveways for somebody else. So they get that, you can combine the history there, but something like that is important. And the thing that I noticed right off the bat that my guess can be a big factor on your ads as well is what both these guys talked about was the image. So, or video. And it's just it's visual is everything on this. So you have to have more. And this one here, when I first looked at this, it took me a while to decide which one was the after. I can't, because after looking at it for a while, okay, this one must be the after, but it's weird because of all this here and it's super white. But then this one over here almost kind of looks like it's designed that way, right? It's designed with that charcoal kind of sort of stamped concrete or something, stained concrete. So I don't like this one at all because of, just because of some of these things on it. It's weird because of this stuff here. Maybe cut off this part of the image, then you would see before and after. But what I'd love to see is a 15-second video ad that shows like these guys working on the dirty one, and then and almost like as part of it, the thing's going this way, and then it cuts into the clean, and it cuts into the next scene, which is like 3 hours later, and he's like doing the last pass through of the full complete driveway. And ideally, you've got a nice house, and sit back a little way so you can see the house. Like you want to see how it affects the way the house looks, if you can. If it's not might not be the best scenario, but because it's not really about the driveway, right? It's about how the driveway makes your house look, and how that's really what matters. And so, ego is everything. One of the things that Roy H. Williams talks a lot about when you're selling anything that's expensive like cars or watches, you have to always hit on the ego with your messaging and stuff. And sometimes it's kind of weird to say show off.
Yeah,
be the best.
I would.
It sound kind of lame, but still you can use that with images too and video without having to blatantly say something lame about their ego, but it does make a difference, because
there's other ways to communicate that. You can do it with humor and have like the transition, show the driveway with, and then have like really obvious, like cut and paste, like old cars and refrigerators and crap in the yard. And then when the driveway gets clean, all that stuff disappears.
You can have a lot of fun with this. I think this is definitely, you have license to have fun with this, because it is a just show up and do the service type of thing. And again, there's no reason you can't be entertaining. You can't have little like sparkles on the one that's after, and have some fun with it.
And what I would do on the ads, if this was my business, I would get creative a little bit, because think about like the will it blend stuff. And maybe you've got it, because you want to get people's attention, right? So maybe you've got an ad that you take the pressure washer,
dropping stuff on the,
like spray it on something, like on a house or on a wall that you can afford to like rip up. You know what I mean? Like, will it clean? And then, Or you just do a joke, like you're not trying to do some big production style, but you take the pressure washer and you spray something and it rips it all off. And you're like, luckily, we're not cleaning walls or houses here. We're cleaning driveways, and we have the best in the world. And if you want to get a free driver, if you want to get 10% off or 30% off your driveway, click here. Something like that. It's visual. It's shareable. And it can make a big difference. Demonstration is everything with this kind of stuff. It's not about storytelling and all the epic stuff. None of that stuff's going to work that well. You have to demonstrate. You have to have a good offer and potentially entertaining. Period.
One really quick last thing, and I'm probably overthinking this one, Brandon, but it might be something worth thinking about, is the optional want that shine to last. We can seal the driveway and keep it shiny for up to 5 years. For me, being just a skeptical guy that's always like looking for the angles and the hooks and stuff, that almost makes me feel like I'm going to use this coupon for a simple thing, and these guys are going to be trying to upsell me for this sealant, and I just don't want to deal with that. This is not worth my time. I'll just go with a slightly dirty driveway or whatever. So I would consider taking out that optional want it to shine. They can have that discussion when they get there after they've earned the right, because they did a good job with the cleaning. But for me, that puts my antenna up there like, oh, crap, this is going to end up to be a nightmare for me once they get here and give me the hard sale. There's a lot of others. Like, please, if nothing else, make sure you put in the why choose us portion and the what our customers are saying portion. I think that will have a big change on it. The calling out the geo, I think Ryan also mentioned, calling out the geo in some of his comments here. I think, and then one thing too is a coupon is always a discounting of value, but it's okay. Like, this is a service. This is expected, right? But I always love to have a reason for the coupon, even if it's a BS reason. It's the spectacular summer sale or, whatever it might be, just giving them a reason why. It's not just like a begging for their business, give you a little bit off the deal.
Right.
We want to get in front of, X amount of people this summer, or we've had such a great summer. We want to finish strong. And so we're giving 10% off, or it's just some other, just
19% off for COVID-19.
Yeah. There you go. I guarantee you, like, at least 100 people are doing that somewhere. Anyways, just consider that. Give it some type of a reason, even if it's because we love this city, we wanted to do this. I think that makes it a give back versus a beg for discounted value. Something to consider.
Yep. Cool.
That's
all right.